Russia threatens a nuclear retaliation over Western missiles in Ukraine. September 12, 2024. By appealing to the United States, Germany, France, and England for supplies of long-range weapons, missiles, and other equipment, and discussing with them the matter of conducting strikes on Russian territory, Zelensky is making these countries a direct participants in the armed conflict in Ukraine, stated Volodin. The Kremlin is once again reaching for the nuclear deterrent. All of this will lead to our country being forced to respond by using more powerful and destructive weapons to protect its citizens, stated the chairman of the State Duma of the Russian Federation. Earlier, Putin's spokesman Dmitry Peskov stated that the American authorities have already decided to lift restrictions on the use of ATACMS missiles for attacks on Russian territory. He added that Russia will provide a proper response if the United States grants Ukraine a permission to strike Russian territory with long-range weapons. Peskov claims that all such decisions made by Western countries are further confirmation of the validity of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Without the help of the United States, Ukraine will not be able to win the war against Russia. We expect Washington to allow us to use American weaponry to attack targets deep in Russia, said Volodymyr Zelensky on Wednesday afternoon. The president of Ukraine added that he is optimistic about granting permission to use long-range weapons, but this decision does not depend on my optimism. It depends on their optimism. This is very important to us now. In any case, I expect dialogues with President of the United States Joe Biden this month, emphasized Zelensky. The British government believes, however, that this will happen before the United Nations General Assembly session, where world leaders will gather in New York on September 22, writes The Times. Along with ATACMS, Ukraine will be able to utilize Storm Shadow. The State Department advocates for the complete lifting of the ban, while the Pentagon and intelligence remain cautious, fearing an escalation of the conflict and the potential use of nuclear weapons by Russia, writes Financial Times. ATACMS will not help Ukraine much because Russia has moved 90% of its bombing missions to airfields out of missile range, said U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin last week. However, CIA Director William Burns and MI6 Director Richard Moore said at the weekend's Foot conference that Putin's nuclear threats should not be underestimated, but the West should not be overly afraid. Putin is bullish and will continue to saber-rattle from time to time, said Burns.